Hi there, my name is Sean DeHaven. Thank you so much for watching this video. This is a tie-in to our TV studio tutorial. If you have yet to watch that video, I highly recommend it. You can find a link to that in the description below. Now the purpose of this video is to very quickly go over 3 pieces of software that we use here in the TV studio that are going to be very helpful tools depending on what you're trying to do. Those pieces of software are OBS Studio, NDI Virtual Input, and NDI Scan Converter. And we'll go ahead and start with OBS Studio. OBS Studio is what we use here for recording and for screen capture. It's actually what I'm using to make this video as we speak, which explains all this funky business going on here in the middle. Now this is a very powerful software. It has a lot of settings. You can get very, very specific if you really want to. But for basic functionality, this is all you really need to know. Down here in the bottom left, you'll see this thing that says Scenes. And these operate exactly like the MEs do on the TriCaster that I discussed in the other video. These are basically templates that you can set up for yourself ahead of time and switch between whenever you want, including during recording. So right now, as you can see, I'm in the computer scene, and I have it set up here with my left and right monitor. It's got my microphone. But if I click cameras, it'll transition over to a live feed from our TriCaster, where I have the TriCaster set up as a source. If I go ahead and flick the lights, you can see that it is in fact live. Very cool. And I click computer, and it brings us right back. Any audio leveling or any audio devices that you have in any scene, it will appear here in the middle. There you can adjust levels, you can mute devices, you could change different settings, that kind of thing. If you wanted to change how you transition between scenes, you can change the length here in milliseconds, or you can change the style here. So let's say I wanted to fade instead of swipe. I would just click fade, and then when I click cameras, it'll fade in. Click computer, that fades in as well. It's very nice. Over here is the record button. You click start to start, you click stop to stop. By default, your videos are going to be saved in the Windows Videos folder, which is a bit of a mouthful. But yeah, no, if you open up File Explorer and go here in the bottom left to Videos, this is where your files will appear by default. Now this PC, much like most classroom PCs on campus, is frozen, which means that when you log off or shut down this computer, any changes or files that you may have made are going to be deleted. So make sure before you leave that you back up your files to a thumb drive, an external hard drive, or to a cloud service like Google Drive, OneDrive, iCloud, Dropbox, whatever you want to use. As long as it's off this computer, by the time you shut it down, you won't lose any of your work. So the next piece of software is the NDI Virtual Input, and this is a fairly helpful tool. What this is used for is turning the TV studio camera into a usable webcam device in other pieces of software. So to open it, you just double click and it opens right up. Now you may notice it doesn't actually open a window here in the middle of the screen. It actually opens up down here in the bottom right next to these icons. If it doesn't appear next to these icons, you just click the arrow and there it is. And it's actually already working. So I'm in a Zoom meeting with myself right now, and as you can see, I have NewTek NDI video selected as my webcam, and there's a live feed of the TriCaster as my webcam in Zoom. I'll flick the lights again just to show once more that it is live. And this doesn't have to just be in Zoom. You can use this for any kind of software that takes a webcam input. You could use it for OBS, you could use it for Skype, you could use it for streaming software, you could use it for editing software. There's a lot of different options that you have when using this tool. Now the final piece of software that we're going over is the Scan Converter. And the Scan Converter kind of does the opposite of the virtual input. Where the virtual input takes the TriCaster and the camera and makes it usable by the computer, the Scan Converter takes a region of your computer screen and makes that usable for the TriCaster. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So to open it, you just double click the icon. And now just like virtual input, a window doesn't actually appear. It'll appear down here in the bottom right. So you go ahead and right click its icon, go to Capture Settings, and click Configure ROI. It'll bring up this little rectangle. Now ROI stands for Region of Interest. and anything inside of the region of interest is what's going to be sent to the TriCaster. So let's just say, for the sake of example, I wanted this section of this corner of the screen. So I'm going to resize the window. And if I go back to my Zoom meeting and switch the cameras on the TriCaster, as you can see, my background is showing up live on the TriCaster. You can see the curtain there actually in front of the shot still. And if I move my mouse in the region, that will appear on the TriCaster as well. Now, even when I close this rectangle, the region still is in effect. Wherever I leave that rectangle, that is the active region of interest. And this has a wide variety of uses. It's actually the technique that I used to film the outro for the previous video. I use this gain converter to send an image to the TriCaster, which I then used as a background behind myself with a green screen. Another practical example would be the Weather Channel. When you see a weatherman on the news with those moving graphics behind him, this is one method where you would achieve this effect. In any case, this has been our tie-in to the TV Studio tutorial. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any further questions, please reach out to the Roanoke IT Help Desk or to the library staff. Either one or both should be able to assist you. Thank you again, and happy filming.